global procurement with Schneider Electric. Dinesh is in the industry for more than 25 plus years, worked in R&D, new product introduction, component engineering, industrialization, category management, and business procurement. Can we welcome Dinesh with big round of applause?
Hope everyone can hear me. So I have only few slides, very few, 3 of them, but more last page has more discussion kind of a point, so I'll go through them. So somebody asked for a cost. So this is the cost is there for everyone. As he said that the quality is number 1 and then comes the next one. So when we are talking about the cost, so we talk about the productivity and this is what is measured everywhere. The negotiation, that is we are in procurement and everybody talks about the negotiations, which we do that. We use the different methodology. Recently we started working with Material Productivity Day, where it is intense negotiation. We bring the people from the different part of the organization, sometimes from the R&D background, sometimes from the marketing background, sometimes from the industrialization kind of a background, to use them as a lever for your negotiation. So sometimes you use R&D guys, that will be benefit because they are the one who's going to help you for in the new projects also. Then you do the should cost. Should cost is sometimes we say should cost, but it is a bigger word. I can say that is bigger word because should cost, in my view, should cost is like, that is the ultimate in the world. I don't think in regionally we can able to get the ultimate cost in the world, but there are many things are there. You can use as a cost model, you can use as a clean sheet, and then you can say should cost. That is just before going for a negotiation. Then you will have the digitized tools to approach to the before negotiation, what and all levers can be used and how the data you can get it from them. And then the competency of each buyer or the leader of the negotiation person, how competent he is there. That is also need to be there. Then change of supplier or alternate suppliers, which we were talking. So this is very important in today's scenario because of the pandemic. You need to have the more sources for each component or each product. So that will be good. That is important for us for the regionally. Many of you would have known already this. Today it is becoming like a regionalization than the globalization. Earlier we were talking about the globalization. Now we are talking about the more of regionalization because every country is talking about the I need to be buying all my components coming from my region. Like if you see in India also, it is started by the government of India. If you are delivering any of your product to the government of India or associated to the government of India, you need to have a 50% of material cost in your product coming from India. So that means you cannot just depend on the other countries. Like many of us maybe already depending on the China, so we may not be able to do that. So that is why this regionalization is required. Same thing, you go to the US government also is putting the same kind of things. Then when you do this change of supplier or the alternate suppliers, you can do more of supplier concentration also. The last one is quality value engineering. Why this is required? Because when you launch the product, sometimes it's the time to market is very important. You need to launch the product. At the time in the design stage, maybe we would have put something which may not be required, but because of urgency through the product designs, we would have put some extra material or extra specification, so which we can optimize and we can reduce the cost. So that is what we do is we call as a product productivity day, where we involve the BU guys, that is an offer marketing guys and the sales guys, where they feel that this is a product, I have an impact on the margins. I'm not able to get the margins for my product and I need some help. This is where we need to get everybody together. It's not only the procurement, we need a procurement to lead this, then you need engineering to act on that, then you need a supply chain guys also, because sometimes the supply chain also may be affected because of the long supply chain systems. So that is why we work on the collaborative work. This is where sometimes we do the competitor benchmark. It may not be very good at this time to do that, but still sometimes you have the very star kind of a product which we may have to do it. But this is normally, it helps for the new product. When we are doing the new product development, we do the competitor benchmarking. Yeah. So very important in procurement, we talk only cost. It is not only the cost, how important your partner, how important you are going to get the innovation coming from your partners. You are developing the product, right? That means you are getting all the components and putting together and you develop the product. That time you need to use a very, very innovative component in your product, or technology component. Otherwise, it is like, engineers. I was an engineer for 15 years, but we are always having extra on, and we think that what I'm doing and what I'm selecting the component, what I'm selecting the technology is the best one. But we don't see that what is the supplier has better than what we are looking for. So that is why we need to bring the suppliers during the new product development, how best technology we are going to use it. So in the recent year, because we are in the electronics industry, we do the lot of power products. If you see, semiconductor is the worst affected in the last 2 years. So when we go to any of the suppliers, like we went to the Intel, AMD, and any of the suppliers, everybody say that your guys are using very old technology. When you are using the very old technology, you will have the problem of the market and or the availability of the components. So this is where we need to work with the suppliers. What is not there in your website? We need that components in the new product development. That means you are still under the development stage, and we are all under the development stage. Let's work on the co-development. This is where the win-win situation for both of us. So we need to work on the innovation, including the product technology, process, time to market. All things will help on this side. So this is where we need to build a community of the R&D, procurement function, industrialization all together, and then we can get the more and more. So think beyond the cost reduction. So we talk about the cost. It is not only the cost. There are many things are there to do that. So one of the topic which we were driving from last at least 6-7 years, design to cost. We have a segment of 2 people in the sales side. So we have a sales that is regionally. They are sometimes or many times they are facing the customer, direct customer, and whenever they go to the customer, they feel that, oh, we need more. This features is required. This feature is required. But when you get into the new product development, when you get all these features is required, but that cost, right? So we need to explain that how much cost for each feature. So you need to explain, and this definitely this is not this cannot be done by only procurement. It has to be together. This is where we call as a new product development. That is where I am part of that, and the business procurement. That's where we need to do that. You have a 10 features. Explain that each feature how much is cost. Then you go and present to the sales guy who is the front end of the customer. He will say that, oh my God, I'm paying 10% for this. I don't think every customer is looking for this. Only 5% of the customers are looking for that. Why do I waste this one? So he will come back and say that no, instead of arguing with him, right? Second is, because of today's pandemic or any of the situation, you need to understand what is designed to supply. You need to tell the engineering, use the component which is required, which is good for the supply. You cannot just bring some way, one technology where you say that its availability in the market is very, very bad. Example, if somebody is in electronics industry, FPGA, many of them are using FPGA. You go to the biggest consumer market, they use an FPGA also, but it is availability in the market is very less. You have only 3 suppliers who can make Intel, AMD, Lattice, right? They're all very, very big guys, and they don't give anything for industrial market. They may be good for the consumer market because the numbers are very high. For industrial market, it is very, very a big problem. So this is where we need to help the marketing as well as to the R&D guys to say that what is required and what is important for the supply. That is why we call as a design to supply. Optimize your inventory level. When you are setting up all the ERP system, make sure that you just don't put the MOQ or SPQ, whatever the supplier feels that. You need to understand how much is required. What is the required inventory we can keep it. So that is also very important for the reducing the cost. We discussed collaboration with strategic suppliers. We need to be very, very careful when we are selecting any of the suppliers. Value analysis, carefully we need to create the specification. We should not be creating the specification or specification, just you are paying for that. You need to tell everybody that you pay for that. We talk about the should cost table, clean sheet. We need to use each stage. What we can do is, so each stage means when you are very early in the new product, you may not be able to do the clean sheet because you don't have the component or the product in front of you, right? So this is where we need to have the cost table for any of the procurement guys, because if you see that every procurement guy does not come from the strong background of that technology, right? Today I may be electronics, maybe I'm being also mechanical, but I don't know anything, right? You need to have some data bank where you start inputting the specification, each parameter, and you should have some data to come out that what should be costing. Okay, this will cost $10. That may be approximate. It may not be very, very accurate. At least he has some background or the data beyond that. When he goes for a negotiation, he said that, oh, this should be $10. It may be 5 plus or minus 5 or 10%, but at least you should have that data. That is where you start with the cost table. Then you can go for a clean sheet when you start manufacturing. That's where you go to the supplier place, and when you have the open book kind of an arrangement with the suppliers, then you will go back and see that how the cost can be reduced. It may help for the supplier also. Supplier also come back and say that it is helping for us. TCO, we say TCO, it may not be same for throughout the product life cycle. It varies. It varies by region, by time. So this is where we need to be, sometimes we need to be very careful in the TCO calculation. End-to-end supply chain. Market insights we need to do. Today, if you see that European market, especially on the electricity, gone. I'm not sure somebody has seen the curve. It's like this. It's normally, okay, it's going like this, it's fine, but today it's like this. It's 500 times the electricity got increased. So if you do not know, if you are buying directly from the Europe and somebody says that my cost is increasing, you will be shocked. This is where we need to have the market intelligence coming from the different external agencies. Like if you are in the semiconductor industry, you have a silicon expert, you have a Z2 data. These kind of companies, they will give you the market intelligence, what is going on in the market, how do we act for a future, right? Technical excellency for your team. If we get the people and if you leave them into the ocean, they will not learn. You need to find some way, different way. How do we make sure that the cost is limited? How do we engage with suppliers to learn ourselves and learn themselves also? The last one is very, very important, automate the procurement process. If you see that in our industry or in Schneider, we have an ERP system, which is you embed all the data. That means this is the price, this is the lead time, this is an MOQ, SPQ, and this is the Incoterms for the price. Incoterms is even the logistics. Nobody touches the database after that. It sees the data, it sees the demand, and followed with the lead time, the PO goes automatically with certain limits. Now, if you have a 1 million PO directly going, somebody will verify that. But there is a limit set on automation. Nobody checks why do we need to say that PO should be released, why we should not be released and all, right? Because it's a manual, you are interrupting, and sometimes the PO get delayed, and the supplier says that I did not get the PO within the time, and then we get struck, right? This is where we need to be more and more automation is required. Yeah, I think that's it. Any question?
Thank you, sir. That's a fantastic presentation. When you talk about PO automation, so how do you manage the procurement master data, ensuring that your data are in place?
Yeah. So we control the master data. That's where all the data will be inputted, and that is through Oracle database. We use it. Every data, master data, will be inputted there. Example: lead time and the payment terms, all those data will be embedded in that. When you pick the, when you're developing the new component, you pick the supplier, automatically all the data is populated. You are not authorized to change anything. If it is unauthorized, then you have to go for escalation and get that approval from them. Because otherwise what happens? For a same supplier, today I create 30 days payment term because I would have negotiated. Somebody will come back that no, I need a 15 days like that. So that will be a big problem for the finance team, right? So the master data is controlled by the one team, which is the digitization team. Anything required to be changed has to go through approval system. Normally we don't try, and that we try only once in a year when we go for a negotiation, because now we are going for 30 days to 60 days, 60 days to 90 days, and also that time it will be anything which is 90 days you are going, so it is good, so they will do it easily. But if you are coming down, definitely they will also ask for the approval, and it will go up to the my level for approval. And that is win-to-win situation where it is required, we need to do that.
Great, thanks a lot, sir.